So I'm finally getting around to reviewing this film, because I've been wanting to review this film for a few months now. Enter the Game of Death. Now this is a DVD from the UK, which is decent picture quality. It's widescreen. There is a Blu-ray in Germany that I would like to try to get one day to see if the picture quality is better. But in the US, you're not going to find a really good quality of all of this film. So your best bet is, if you can grab the Blu-ray, I would assume, or at least this. I believe there's some people have uploaded onto YouTube as well. Enter the Game of Death. Some people might not remember, but months ago I did a little mini marathon on Bruceploitation films. Bruceploitation films being films that when Bruce Lee died, a lot of people wanted to capitalize on what the success Bruce Lee would have had in the future, how much of an even bigger star he would have been, as he was already a big star at that point. So you got a lot of guys and renamed them Dragon Lee, Lee Bruce, Bruce Lie with L-I, Bruce Lay with L-E, Dragon Lee, like all these names. And then a lot of Bruceploitation films. I reviewed a couple of them which were fun. For example, I reviewed The Soul Brothers of Kung Fu with Bruce Lee. Very good one. Has some music from Rocky in it, which was funny. Some really good fight sequences in that. I reviewed The Clones of Bruce Lee, which is a weird one. The Dragon Lives Again, another weird one, where Bruce Lee fights a wannabe Clint Eastwood, a wannabe James Bond, and is helped by a wannabe like Popeye, and at one point kind of fights Dracula. It's the movie's not as fun as it sounds, but it's definitely worth a watch as a curiosity. I reviewed that. And then the very first one I saw when I was a kid, Bruce the Superhero with Bruce Lee, which, like I said in the review for that, might have been the first kung fu movie I've seen. I mean, as a kid, I grew up watching Van Damme, early Steven Seagal, Chuck Norris, Dolph Lundgren, but for that kung fu, like Asian martial arts film, Bruce the Superhero might have been the first one I saw, because I remember seeing it on VHS when I was a kid. So it was nice to see another Bruce Lee with L.E. film enter the Game of Death. And this might be my favorite Bruceploitation film, because all it is, it's an hour and 26 minutes, and probably of that running time, an hour and 20 minutes is just fight scenes and kicking ass. And so if you go into this looking for a plot, looking for a story, you're not going to find it. It does have bad dubbing, sure. But overall, it's pretty damn fun. At least to me. Because despite what people say, I can be entertained easily. I really can. Just give me what I want. Just give me what if I go into this kind of film, I want a little bit of insanity, a little bit of the Bruceisms, and wall-to-wall fight scenes. And the movie gave me that. I mean, the plot, if you want to call it a plot, I'll just call him Bruce for the sake of our argument. Someone wants to hire him as a bodyguard. He says no. Throughout the film, he gets attacked a lot, and ultimately a woman wants him to get this secret document, and at first he refuses, but ultimately he does, because he has this flashback of, I believe it was his cousin, I could be wrong, but a woman being raped and killed, and him being regretful of that, and it's like, okay, I'm going to help this woman. And this, I believe the document is in this Tower of Death. And like I said, it's all just fighting. I mean, Bruce is just out in the woods at the beginning, and people just randomly attack him, including Bolo Yun. Bolo Yun is in this. He was in a lot of these Bruceploitation films. He was in The Clones of Bruce Lee. He was in Bruce the Superhero. The Big Boss 2, where he had a Hitler mustache. Bolo Yun, of course, I remember him the most as Chun Li in Bloodsport. You break my record, I break you like I break your friend. So it's always cool to see him in these movies, because I like Bolo Yun. And the fight scenes are fun. I just see some people getting a bit tired, monotonous, tedious, because there's a lot of fight scenes, and they, for the most part, are similar. But I like Bruce Lee. I like how he really gets into trying to be Bruce. He really gets into the part. And maybe because I'm reminiscent or nostalgic of, I miss these kind of fight scenes, because you don't see them anymore. Now it's either CGI filled, or schizophrenic editing, or it's shaky cam, or a lot more MMA takedowns upon MMA takedowns. No one wants to do an old classic martial arts because it's cheesy, it's corny, it's not realistic. Because, we go to martial arts films for realism, right? I go for fun and escapism, but what do I know? So you have fight scenes in the woods. You have Bolo Yun in a ring, like a wrestling ring, and he beats up a bunch of people. And then Bruce comes in. Some nice moves, like when Bruce is being strangled, and he puts himself up on his hands, flips his legs down, and hits Bolo's head with his legs. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like he lifts himself up and then puts his legs down to make them hit Bolo's head so that Bolo will let go. And then Bruce grabs him, and even though he gets taken out, he still holds on and still chokes him out, knocks him out. I did multiple fight scenes leading up to a good portion of the film to the actual, enter the game of death, the actual Tower of Death, where he goes up these levels. And it's about 5 levels. The first level is this guy here, where ultimately he tries to fight him with swords, and Bruce fucks him up. The second level, which is the weirdest one, is a snake level, where the guy tries to fight him with snake technique, but also throws snakes at Bruce, whips him with snakes, tries to choke him with snakes, and the bad guy even bites the head of the snake and spurts the blood to try to get in Bruce's face. So that's what I mean by some of these Bruceploitation films have a bit of insanity that's pretty damn fun. And then Bruce, takes a snake and chokes his ass out. The third level, again, a bit of fun insanity. You have 2 guys. One is this... actually, I forget if that's the 3rd or 4th level. In one level, he fights this guy in a room filled with candles, and it's a nunchuck fight. I know it's pronounced nunchaku, but it's a nunchuck fight. And I miss that stuff. In fact... One second. Sorry about that. Alright. I miss these. This is an old one that I have. It actually has Bruce Lee on it. I miss this stuff being in fight scenes. I miss this stuff being in action scenes. Because... I mean, when was the last time you saw a movie, right, that did this stuff. I mean, think about it. When was the last time we saw that? I can't think of it. Can you? And it's one of those things that it's sad that you don't see this anymore. Because the fluidity and what you can do with it. So it's always a kick for me to see a nunchuck fight scene. I mean, the last time I remember it is maybe like a low-budget Asylum film, which was a ripoff of I Am Legend called I Am Omega, where Marta Costos beats the fuck out of zombies with nunchucks for like 10 seconds. Wish it was a longer scene. And that's actually not that bad of an Asylum film considering it's an Asylum film, so it costs like $5, but that's probably the best Asylum film I've seen is I Am Omega. But, so you do the nunchuck fight scene, which is cool to see. And yeah, I know it's called nunchaku, but I like pronouncing nunchucks. And then another level is fighting. It's two people, and one has like his buddy or his pet or whatever who likes to fight in red light because it makes the guy angry. So they have an accuracy where they fight in red. The whole room is red light. And Bruce like smashes shit over the guy's head. And then fights the white-haired guy who has like a tiger style. And even scratches him on the face. Because that happened. Enter the Dragon. Bruce got scratched in the face. So this Bruce had to have a moment where he gets scratched in the face. I forget which level, but there's one where he Bruce flips the guy and the guy flies through the damn door, crashes through the door, which was fun. On the last level, there's like this brute guy that he fights, and the fight scenes at least I think they're fun and fast. Because sometimes like in the clothes of Bruce Lee's, the fight choreography could be a little bit slow and sluggish. I didn't feel that way in this. It pretty much anything you could think of that you saw in a Bruce Lee film, they kind of put in this. There's even one fight later on where he does right, it doesn't have the actual effect, but you see the movement. And there's one point where he fights after that, there's a lot of fighting outside for like another 20 minutes. He fights one big tall guy with some nice jump kicks. There's one guy that he fights that he realizes was the Japanese guy that raped and killed. I believe it was his cousin. I don't know how he recognizes the guy because I don't think he saw the guy's face. He was pretty much just told that someone raped me and blah blah blah. I don't know how the guy saw the guy's face. How Bruce saw the guy's face. Maybe he saw the flashback like the viewer did. Kills that guy. And you think like, okay, now it's going to be the end. Okay, he killed the guy who killed... That's going to be the end? No. Okay, he fights Bolo Yun, kills him. That's going to be the end? No. It just keeps going. So that was a bit weird. But again, I was having fun, so I didn't mind it. Again, if you look at it as a movie, bad dubbing, flimsy plot, well, no plot, stuff to say, but again, I just want to be entertained. If you do that main job, I can overlook a lot of stuff. I really can. I'm really not as hard to please as some people may think I am. One of the last guys he fights is a guy that does kind of look like Steve James. I know on Wikipedia and IMDb they say, it's Steve James from American Ninja 1 and 2. No, it's not Steve James. I mean, granted, he has a little bandana thing that kind of looks like what he had in American Ninja 2, which is actually my favorite of the American Ninja films, but it's not Steve James. I wish it was Steve James, but it's not Steve James. And kicks all the bad guy's ass. Again, like, what you can think of. Okay, how about a moment where he jump and kicks the guy in the face? Okay, how about a whirlwind kick? Okay, how about slow motion, where a good part of the fight is slow motion? You got that. Okay, how about the moment where you have the hero kicking the camera as if he's kicking the person? Yep, you got that. How about, chopping people on the neck? You got that. I did almost every Bruceism, the wah, you got that. Kind of ticks all the boxes. Nunchuck fight, you got that. So that's what I mean, that this is a pretty damn fun film. That again, I'm curious about the Blu-ray in Germany to see how good the picture quality is. It's sad that none of this stuff really gets much in the U.S. Just to look down upon, oh, Bruceploitation, that's junk. How dare you like those films? Those are blah blah blah. I'm like, you know what? These are fun, and they deliver what they promise, which sadly a lot of films don't. And if you like martial arts films, if you like Bruceploitation films, and you just want to see a ton of fight sequences, this is a movie for you. And dare I say, I liked it more than the actual Game of Death. I like the Bruce Lee footage in Game of Death, but as a film, I like this a lot more. You get to see the full, like, Tower of Death. I wish we could have seen that with Bruce Lee, but he passed away. I know at one point Van Damme was doing a film called The Tower. This was like over a decade ago. I wish he got to do that film. I like to see more films that do the Tower of Death. Kind of like the Kung Fu video game for Nintendo. Well, there's other platforms too, but I remember from Nintendo. I mean, in a way, but not really. You kind of saw that with the Raid Redemption and Dread. But again, not really the same. But, I mean, with all these other films that they fucking rip off or do whatever, I'm surprised no one has remade Game of Death. Like, took what Bruce's original vision was and just said, we're going to do an actual remake of Game of Death. Maybe they did as a Bruceploitation, I don't know about it, but Game of Death 2 is pretty good. I reviewed that, especially the second half of that. Is the finale is a lot of fun. But anyway, Enter the Game of Death, entertaining flick. It gives you what you want in this kind of movie. The music, motifs from, I think, mainly Enter the Dragon. The opening, a lot of these Bruceploitation films have that opening where it's a red background and you have your lead character either fighting people or, in this case, training and kicking pots and punching bags. And I know that was at the beginning of Enter the Fat Dragon with Sammo Hung. That was at the beginning of The Dragon Lives Again. So, yeah. I had a ball with this. It was a lot of fun to watch. I actually saw it twice now. And I do hope one day that some of these films like this, Soul Brothers of Kung Fu, I mean, at least Game of Death 2, I have the DVD from overseas, and that has features and a commentary. But some of these others, I do hope they get a Blu-ray release or something, because if the fucking Garbage Pail Kids movie could get a Blu-ray, or Mac and Me, which doesn't deserve it, a film like this deserves it too. But again, maybe that Blu-ray in Germany, maybe one day I'll pick that up and give that a whirl. But I mean, they deliver what's promised. Like I said, that's more than I can say for a lot of movies today. But either way, thanks for watching, take care, and we will see you in the next video. Later.